I'm Jayne.
And I'm Jen.
And we're SpielMill.
And we are coming out of an extended period of not really being able to game. So we are diligently working on our shelf of opportunity and trying to get a lot of new games to the table. So every week we are making sure that we introduce new games into our day, and then we're going to talk about them. So these are the games that we played that were new to us last week.
And so there's a bunch. These were mostly lighter games this week, partially because we were really pushing to finish our 5x5 in time for February, which we're going to get done. We're just one play away. Yeah. So when we're recording this, which is February 28th, so by the time you see this... 27th. So by the time you see this, it'll probably be over, but we'll be done. So,
Yay.
Yay.
We did it.
So very exciting. And I don't know, I guess we'll start from the top. Movie Plotz, which is a button shy, I guess, RPG-ish game.
Yeah, it is. So button shy are micro wallet games. There's 18 cards and again, like you said, this is like an RPG. Basically, you start out with one sentence, and then that is the beginning of a plot of a movie or a movie script. Could be like the girl ate an apple. Then you draw a card, and the card will tell you like how to adjust the script. And then your opponent, not opponent because it's cooperative, then you would draw a card, and then I would draw a card, then you would draw a card, and we would do that until we were out of cards, and we would have told a story.
Yeah, so we played this on Saturday, I think, but we played it, and we ended up with what seemed like an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, it did. Which they may all look like that. I don't know. We'll see.
But it was fun. We enjoyed it. We actually had a lot of fun making it.
Yeah.
Making up the story and following the prompts.
I really loved this. I meant to look earlier today for expansions to this because, I mean, we just had a really nice time together sitting down. And when you delivered that last line which I can't remember now, but I was dying. I was laughing so hard. It was so perfect the way you brought it all back around and tied it up in a bow when it was this like weird wandering story based on these prompts. It was fantastic. So
yeah, I should be specific that we played Movie Plotz Cult Films, but there's actually several versions of this game. There's a base Movie Plotz, there's Movie Plotz the sequel, Movie Plotz bonus features, and Movie Plotz behind the scenes.
I marked the wrong one.
Did you?
I marked Movie Plotz at the top because that's what the back of the cards look like.
But we did Cult Films is the one we played,
yeah, we did.
I think.
So
there's a whole bunch of them. So we kind of want to get more because we think it'd be totally fun to have more.
Yeah, and we have friends that this would not work with. So if you don't like RPG, sort of imaginative storytelling games, it's not for you. But I just really enjoyed this. So I want to get the rest of them.
Yeah, this is definitely a thumbs up from us. It's not a game you're going to play every day, but I think it's a game you break out every few weeks or something, every few months, and play it, and it'd be fun as long it keeps it fresh. But it's not something you're gonna play like we play Scout like almost every day, but you don't. That's not going to happen with Movie Plots.
No,
in most cases.
But I think it's something we're going to get a lot of play out of.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So,
so that was the first one, Movie Plots. Then the second game we played was Glitch Squad, which we had backed on Kickstarter. This is a party game.
Resident Games.
Yeah, Resident Games. It was Jayne's birthday on Friday, and we had people over, real live people.
More than we've had over. So we've only had a couple people over at a time up to this point.
In 3 years. It was incredible. So we actually ended up with a group of 7. This is like I said, it's a party game where you are the cat, you're a forensic unit, and your cat Glitch has walked across the keys of your keyboard and signed you out, and you have
change your password,
and you've got to try to figure out what the new password is. And
didn't save it in your password software.
Yeah. Which is always do that. So you are, you're writing down 3 clues, you're passing it to a neighbor who's going to glitch it, who's going to change one, and then you're passing it to a teammate who has to try to guess what the word was based on your clues with the distractor in there. So we had a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, we did. I think it was really fun. It was a little bit fiddly.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was interesting to see, like, And there was some randomness that kind of, like, enough randomness that sometimes it was, like, impossible to glitch a clue. Now, maybe that was because someone wrote really good clues, which is what you're trying to do. But there were a couple of clues that were kind of like, this is a weapon, because it's supposed to be forensics based, and but it was fun. Obviously, they had to be creative to have enough cards, I think, is what it came down to. It was fun, and there was a skill to it. Like, there certainly was a skill to coming up with good creative clues when you know that one of your 3 clues is going to be glitched.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, the person on the other end knows it's going to be glitched. When you're guessing a clue, you're thinking that. And one thing I really liked about the game is the simultaneous play. That you're all coming up with clues at the same time, and then you're passing it, you're all glitching clues at the same time. So everybody glitches, everybody comes up with clues.
Yeah.
And then you go turn by turn and with the guessing, and then you go back to simultaneous play.
There was more than once where the glitched word actually helped the players guess the word. Maybe that was a poor glitch, but also it can be really hard if you're trying to stay within the letters or make it seem like it's not less. You don't want it to be so obviously glitched that everyone knows what the throwaway is. So.
Right, but and we had one case where they actually made it so much easier. They literally, the clue was golf that you had to guess, and they changed petrichor, which was one of the clues, to par.
Yeah.
They made it easier.
They did. Because you have to, one of the clues has to start with a certain letter, and I couldn't think of par. I couldn't think of a single golf-related word that began with P. So I put petrichor. Nerd. But if you get tired of the
and
same...
I was like, what the hell's petrichor?
Like,
I'm a board gamer. We have a board game called petrichor.
But if you get tired of the same old party games, or want like a good rotation of party games, I think this is one that's worth having in the mix. I mean, I personally, I love something like Just One, but I don't want to play Just One every single time, we're having
and this
friends
has
over.
A Just One feel with the clue giving, a little bit. Not exactly, but sort of, you know? Where you only have like a couple clues and you have to guess the word. It happens a lot in Just One with the duplicates, so... Because Just One's easy when you get a lot of clues a lot of times, but then it's harder, of course. But it's forensic, so it's narrowed down categories, so that helps.
Right, it's going to be a place or a weapon or something like that.
But there were a couple of weapons that were like, that's a weapon? So, a couple of things that threw people off. Yep. Very good, though. Very fun game. I enjoyed Glitch Squad. I closed away from my list to bring it up on BGG. So, the next game we had, and this is a great game because this is from a designer, a black female designer. And there's not enough black female designers within the industry, or at least who are getting attention. And she self-published this, I believe. So
yeah, I think so.
It's called Brilliant or BS, and it's just a party game. And I liked it. It was fun. It's kind of one of those games where you have it's a multiple choice question, and then you pass around the cards. Everyone has ABC cards, sorry, and everyone guesses an answer and puts it face down, and then you have and then you go around the table and everybody justifies their answer without telling you what their answer is. And then you have to decide who's brilliant, who's likely to have gotten it right, and who's full of it, and they get the BS card. And if the judge guesses right on who's brilliant, who's BS, they get points for each. And it was very fun.
Yeah,
it was really fun.
It was.
I think the questions were, some of them are really good. And it worked better with some of the tougher questions, I think. Yeah. Than with some of the easier questions where just about everybody got it right.
Yeah. Well, and I will say that in our group we had an engineer, we had a data scientist, we had a CPA, we had a historian. So there was a card for like every person's specialty, it seemed like, which made it a little bit maybe less. It was like obvious who was going to get the right answer.
Yeah, several mamas were like, as a mom, I know blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Or there was a question about, what's bigger, gigabytes or kilobytes? And if you live in 2023, you pretty much know the answer to that. Yeah. So that was not a great question, I think, because it was too easy. Yeah. Like these days where everyone has to, check the space on their computer or their iPhone or their,
Yeah.
you know, tablet or whatever. That just, everyone knows what the difference between a kilobyte, or not everybody, but
And I'll say
most people know what the difference between a kilobyte, or at least what's bigger, megabyte, gigabyte, kilobyte.
there's an element of the sort of storytelling in this too, though, and that's why one of our friends who doesn't love storytelling games, this did not really jive with her, because it's not necessarily about like knowing the answer or even proving that you know the answer. It's about telling the best story about why you know the answer. And there were a couple cards that I got that were brilliant because I just told the best story, even though it was total bullshit, of why I knew the answer to that.
We all knew that, though.
Nick didn't. Totally fooled him.
So, all right. So here's another button shy we played this week called Press Tour. And Press Tour was the heck was Press Tour? It was a role-playing game.
Yeah.
And one person's playing like an author who's selling their new book and holding a press conference. And the other player is playing a media person who's interviewing them.
Yep. And you're trying to get the person to use certain keywords. And you're picking those keywords. So you're picking the keywords. So like I wanted to get Jayne to say, what was it?
As the media person.
As the media person. Yeah. You were a music star, and I was trying to get you to say, I don't remember.
Yeah, I was a music star. And then I had to pick goals. And like my goal was to talk about my love for graveyards.
Right. That's right. And so like there were also these requirements, like get them to cry, get them to, you have to ask them a question about their childhood. And so I asked you a question about, so you went to Catholic school, because I was trying to get you to say none. I was using that to try to get you to say none, and you used to say graveyard. So
Oops. There was probably none or two in the graveyard.
Yeah. This was interesting. I think we've got to play it a couple more times. There's some potential there. We do like these RPG games. They're nice fillers for us. They're, they tend to be, if they're not cooperative, it's still just super interactive here, where we were having a conversation. Which
and Press Tour is really competitive. Nice. Yeah, it has a point system, and so you are competing to get the most points.
But it's that you're having a conversation with your partner, and that I really like, especially for those shorter in between games. Is this one newer, Press Tour?
Yeah, I believe it is newer.
Movie Plotz is the oldest, was the oldest unplayed button shy game that we had, I believe. So we're trying to go through them in order.
All right, so another one. This is a really popular game that we played, and this is called Cat in the Box. I had mixed feelings on this one.
You did. You hated it the first time we played it.
The first time I played it, I don't know. It just didn't go. But I just needed a game to figure it out too. So I did enjoy the other plays. I think it's fun. I'm not sure how much I like it. That is still out for verdict. And of course this video is first impressions, because these are all new games to us, so we haven't played any of these games enough to review them, right? So I should have had that caveat up front, but that's the case with Cat in the Box. I need more plays. I actually got this for you for your birthday, because we love Scout so much, and one of the things that makes Scout so fun is that it's taking a familiar mechanism of trick taking and kind of twisting it. And that's what I was hoping Cat in the Box would be. And it is, I like it. I don't like it as much as Scout. But again, we've only played it twice. In that first game, you really struggled with it and didn't like it. So that kind of tainted the experience. So we'll see with some more plays what we think of it. And then I kind of crushed in the second game.
Oh yeah, you destroyed me.
It's, the thing about it was, at least a 2-player, and maybe it's different with more players, but it felt less like a trick-taking game. And that was my problem in the first game, is I was playing it like a trick-taking game.
Yes.
And it was almost like it was less of a trick-taking game and more about the other things you're trying to do, which is build a pattern of your cubes in the center board and stuff like that, which makes it a totally different game. Whereas we were thinking it would be more of a trick-taking game, which it is technically a trick-taking game.
But, yeah. So, and that's the thing, is you don't want to win all the tricks. You have to try to really control how many tricks you're getting. And if you want to really maximize your score, you have to take under a certain amount of tricks so that you can score the pattern of your tokens on the board. And so it's just a whole different thing. It's not, I think, what we were kind of expecting. And I think with more plays, we may discover that we really like it once we kind of understand what it is that we're doing, or we may find out it's not for us. So we'll see.
We'll see. And maybe it'll be something that's better with more players, and we'll have to try with more players at some point. So I don't know, but it does work at 2. Like, it is playable, and it's definitely got work. And but I think it's less about the trick taking. Or at least, in the traditional sense.
Yep.
Now, another game we played, and this is a standalone expansion, was MicroMacro All In.
Yeah, and we really loved the first 2 MicroMacros. We only have 1 play of this in. We just were busy this week doing other stuff, but I it's more of the same. We're going to love it. If you liked the first 2 MicroMacros, there is nothing to suggest this isn't going to be just as much fun.
Yeah. So I think this is excellent, and it's MicroMacro. MicroMacro, you have a big black and white map, people dying all over the place, cheating on their spouses, stealing cars. Who knows? They're doing all kinds of stuff.
Robbing banks, yeah.
And you have these cases where you have to look on the map and find. It's like a Where's Waldo kind of thing. You got to find the person you're looking for, and then figure out how did they get there, why did they go there. Try to infer that based on what they did that day by looking around the map, because it'll show them at different points in time. And it's really fun. It's a little bit more activity than game, although I've always argued that activity is like a mechanism, really.
Yeah.
So it's a bit more of the main mechanism is activity. So it is what it is, but it's really fun.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. And then the final new thing that we got to the table was not a game, but it was expansion. So we had Mystic Vale on our 5x5, and we really enjoyed this game, but we had not played any of the expansions that we have, and I think we have most of them. So we've played Mystic Vale and we really like it, but we have not played any of the expansions, and we have a number of them. So we got to the table Harmony and Conclave expansions this week, and mixed reviews. There were a couple things that were so they add new leaders to the game. They add new totems to the game, would give you powers that last through the game. And then they have a token that whenever you whenever you bust or spoil, you get a token which will give you an extra mana. Or
I like the tokens universally.
Yeah.
The new tokens.
Now it gives you a special power, but we found that some of them were really unbalanced, and I don't know whether it was the way we were playing or what, but I mean, there was one game I think I was almost in tears by the time we were done, because you were just, you destroyed me. You like doubled my score.
But then you did it to me. Like, it was bizarre. It really depended on which. So I really liked it. I liked the leaders. I liked the totems. I liked the tokens. I will say this, the new tokens, I did not feel any of them were overpowered per se.
Well, the 3 mana
the 3 mana is really good, so that
was a little overpowered, because you just bust and then the next turn you would have
if I have 2 cards in my field and I'm about to bust. So in Mystic Vale you have 20 cards. It's card crafting where you add additional powers to your cards, and so you start with 20 basic cards and you flip them over. And then if you get too many cursed lands, then you bust, you spoil. And then if you spoil, you don't get to do anything that turn. You have to discard the cards. Well, I kept spoiling on purpose because I kept getting these 3 mana, which is what you used to spend to buy stuff. And to me, that was better than spending the 2 mana I had before I busted. I got the 3 plus whatever I got in my field that turn on the next turn, so I'd get like 6 mana.
And you had another really powerful card. And so I think I love the idea. I love the added leaders. I love the tokens. I love the totems were really great, but some of them were just out of balance with the game.
That's what it seemed like. And because it was really fun, some of the powers I had, and even the one I misinterpreted, potentially, probably. And I misinterpreted it way into my favor. But Yeah, there just seemed to be a balancing issue. It was really fun.
Yeah. For the person
For the person who had
that,
the good
yeah.
power, but it was really miserable for the other person, and because you were kind of eliminated early in the game, like it's a Mystic Vale for is a little bit long for what it is my one negative to the game in general, and so it does get to the point where like, oh, I got to play 40 more minutes of this, and I've already lost.
Yeah, like I
I've
know
already
I'm done.
lost.
I'm done.
So that's not ideal. It's kind of a runaway leader problem, I guess. But it may be that we just did something wrong, or maybe we just didn't know how to use the totems and stuff to their max effectiveness because we've only played it so many times.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a little research on what other people think about these particular leaders and
Yeah,
totems,
maybe you have experience with Mystic
Yeah.
Vale and the leaders and the totems, and can provide some insight because we definitely it came across to us like they were imbalanced. And like I said, that was really fun for the person who had the powers, but it was not. It was very unfun for the opponent, and it did make it less enjoyable as a game because, of course, you know, you want a game to be close or
Yeah.
competitive at least.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. So that was all of our new games for last week. We'd love to hear if you've played anything new in the last week and what you thought of it. Were they good? Should we be looking at those games? Were they bad? What are you playing?
All right. Thanks for watching, and remember, every day that you game
It's a holiday.
Bye.
Bye.